Global happenings today. We communicate. We analyze global news.
Hello, great people. Welcome back to our channel. We're excited to have you again. The full text of Atiku's address to Nigerian on Rivers state of emergency is finally out. Don't forget that the former Vice President Atiku had condemned the state of emergency declared on Rivers State by President Tinubu, and it has been reported that the former PDP presidential candidate said he was going to make his opinion known in a world press conference today, which has already been held. I'm going to give you full details of what he had to say. Similar Fubara, already we all know, has been suspended by the president, which had not just him alone, his deputy also has been suspended, not just her alone, or not just her and Similar Fubara. All the members of the State House of Assembly has been suspended for the next 6 months. Nigerians are questioning the provision of Section 305 of the Constitution because it does not give the president the power to suspend elected officers. So major stakeholders are questioning why the president had to, get more powers for himself, which is not traceable to the Constitution. But first of all, let's consider what the joint press conference by concerned leaders and political stakeholders in Nigeria on the unconstitutional declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State by President Bola Tinubu. And this was what Atiku had to say. He said, fellow Nigerians, we, a cross-section of leaders and political stakeholders from across the country, have come together to address the dangerous and unconstitutional action taken by the President Bola Tinubu GCFR on March 18, 2025, to wit the declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State and illegal suspension of the governor, deputy governor, and the State House of Assembly. This action is not only unlawful, but a clear attempt to subvert democracy and impose federal control over a duly elected state government. We strongly condemn this development and call on all Nigerians of good conscience to resist these brazen assaults on constitutional governance. Seemingly, Mr. President's illegal and unconstitutional proclamation was driven by a protracted, insidious political crisis in Rivers State, culminating in the recent ruling of the Supreme Court. Ordinarily, all parties involved would have been expected to follow lay-down procedure motivated by good faith to quickly implement the judgment of the highest court of the land. We note that Governor Fubara's disposition is geared towards full implementation of the ruling of the Supreme Court, despite provocative statements from opposing quarters. It is also notable that Mr. President's broadcast to the nation on 18 March 2025 betray his bias and is infradic of the sophisticated communication expected from the highest office in the land. By so doing, the president dragged himself and his highly exalted office into the arena of a political brawl, thereby denigrating his high office through inelegant language, predisposed excessiveness, and malignant deportment. The Constitution violation. Number 1, illegal removal of a governor and state assembly. The Nigerian Constitution does not empower the president to remove an elected governor, deputy governor, or state assembly under any circumstance. The procedure for removing a governor is clearly outlined in Section 188 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended through an impeachment process initiated by the State House of Assembly, not by presidential proclamation. Number 2, misuse of Section 305 on state of emergency. Section 305 of the Constitution allows the president to declare a state of emergency only in extreme cases where public safety, national security, or Nigeria's sovereignty is at serious risk. However, it does not grant him the power to suspend elected officials or to demolish democratic structure as is currently being attempted. Furthermore, Section 305 of Section 1 stated that any proclamation of emergency is subject to the provision of the Constitution, meaning it cannot override the tenure and removal procedure of a governor. Number 3, failure to meet constitutional requirement for emergency rule. The condition under Section 305 of Section 34 declaring a state of emergency includes, number 1, war or external aggression, breakdown of public order and safety, natural disaster, or any other grave emergency threatening Nigerians' corporate existence. None of these conditions exist in current circumstances in Rivers State. There is no war, no widespread violence, and no breakdown of law and order warranting emergency rule. Number 4, failure to follow due process. Even if an emergency declaration were valid, which it is not, it will still require a 2/10 majority approval of all members of the National Assembly, that is at least 72 senators and 240 members of the House of Representatives. If this approval is not secured, the proclamation must automatically cease to have effect. Number 5, alternative legal avenues were ignored. If the issues was the dysfunction of the Rivers State House of Assembly, the President could have encouraged the National Assembly to intervene under Section 11 of the Constitution. However, even under such an intervention, the governor and deputy governor cannot be removed by any arm of government except through constitutional means, as the proviso to Section 11, subsection 4 clearly provides. A manufactured crisis for political control. This state of emergency declaration is not about security. It is about power. The disagreement within Rivers State stemmed from the defection of 27 assembly members from the PDP to the APC, their loss of seat under constitutional provision, and the subsequent political maneuvering to undermine the governor's mandate. Rather than allowing the law to take its course, the federal government has engineered a crisis to justify this unconstitutional action, the excuse of pipeline vandalism, an issue squarely under the control of federal security agencies and privately contracted security firms, is laughable. If security breaches are the concern, the first question should be, who controls the police, the military, and the DSS, the governor or the president? Our demands and call to action. Number 1, immediate reversal. We call on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to immediately revoke this unconstitutional provision or proclamation and reinstate the elected governor, deputy governor, and state house of assembly. Number 2, National Assembly rejection. We call on patriotic senators and representatives to vote against this illegal action when it comes before them for approval. The National Assembly must not be used to legitimize an unconstitutional power grab. Number 3, judicial intervention. We urge the judiciary to act swiftly in striking down this proclamation, as it sets a dangerous precedent that could be used to arbitrarily remove any governor in the future. Number 4, Nigerians must defend democracy. We call on all civil society organizations, political groups, and Nigerians of good conscience to stand firm in the defense of this democracy that we have all toiled to build. Rivers State is not a conquered territory, and Nigeria is not a dictatorship requiring the replacement of an elected governor with a military administrator. In conclusion, a peaceful Niger Delta is critical to the economic health and stability of Nigeria. The federal government should not manufacture political crises that could disrupt this fragile stability. We must never allow the personal political interest to override the principle of federalism, democracy, and constitutional governance. This is not just about Rivers State. It is about the future of Nigerian democracy. We thank you all. And this happened today, the 20th of March. My colleague is in the house. For me, I think Atiku Abubakar has nailed it, and every other concerned leader across board, they have clearly spelled out the misdeed of the president. We have to understand one thing as a country, that no one person elected to rule this country have the right to misuse power just anyhow. There is no provision in the constitution that allows that. And what Atiku Abubakar has rightly pointed out, it's for me just hitting the nail on the head. And I know that right now, Nigerians are depending on the legislature. What's your standpoint on all the points that have been made by Atiku Abubakar?
All of this is the time to test waters, test how resolute the Nigerian Senate will be. They shouldn't also forget, I know that some of them want to start thinking in the line of politics, in the line of their party. They should remember that just that the way they used to say those days in university, injustice to one is injustice to all. The same cane they used to flog for Bara is waiting for all of you.
Of course.
At the appropriate time, if you don't align, they will use it to flog you. They will pick it where they kept it and they will use it to flog you. The same way they removed Fubara adjusting and tweaking the constitution the way they deem fit. If you do not align as a legislator in a game that you believe that is not right, is not proper, they will just remove you. After a while, the power will no longer belong to the people, such that even if you vote, we don't do democracy much. What we do is judocracy, quote and unquote, where whatever we do in the ballot box, INEC is on one corner doing its own.
Nothing to do its own.
Then whatever happens, if for any reason we're casually able to overtake and overcome INEC, we have the judges to look at, where now the mandate of the people will be upturned, and it is the mandate of the special elite. The selection will now take place. But if this is another level entirely. Nigeria have never entered this level before, where the executive power will now be the one overriding all powers. Where both the two arms, legislative and judiciary, will now bow to the executive. Then we don't have a democracy. Then what we are looking at literally is, if you don't dance to me, we are going to be looking at the one-party system. Everybody will put to APC to safeguard themselves. Then he will now be the Lord and jury.
Yes.
Whoever he selects comes in.
Exactly.
Everybody back down. And then we are no longer practicing democracy. Then after a while, freedom of speech will become affected. Gradually, we will now begin to see, they call it agbada, military. They will tell you ruling by Bariga in ruling, but this one will now be agbada in ruling.
Yes,
though we are not military, but everything we are having, though having the cloth of democracy, but it's smelling dictatorship. In all honesty, let's forget about politics. Let's forget about party affiliation. Let's call a spade a spade. Whatever it is, that the constitution is there to guard us all. You don't pick it when it suits you. If you need the two-thirds majority, Senate, please, this is not the time to begin to become rubber stamp. I'm beginning to feel the pulse already. Yesterday, they were unable to get anything done. Just about 70 senators were saying they were unable to get it done. For that of the Green Chamber, before they even started themselves, there was heated argument.
Yeah.
And already, other people are beginning to feel it. But even among the APC, I doubt if all of them were able to give them. But then,
never.
We all know that, in Nigeria, like Akpabuyo himself, what money cannot do, more money can do it, according to him those days when he was running good politics. So yes, it's very possible that a lot of consulting is taking place. But whatever you are consulting, remember, there's a bigger picture, and that's the Nigerian picture. And whatever you sow as a seed, you will not always be there as a player forever. Another will take, and they will germinate, and they will take the fruit of what you have sown today. I hope you'll be able to bear the pains when the fruit goes to another.